live and on your side. This is WSAV News 3 today at 11.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Kim Gusby. Thank you for joining us on WSAV News 3 today at 11. We will start off this Friday Eve. We know it's Thursday, but it makes us feel better with a live look from our Savannah cam out over Tybee Island. Storm Team 3 meteorologist Alyssa Carsey's in the Weather Center with a look at our forecast first. Alyssa, I could not believe earlier this morning at around 8:30, it was already 84 degrees.
Yep. So when you said Friday Eve, I was thinking, yeah, we definitely all need something good to hear right now, because we are back to tracking the summer heat and humidity. Like Kim said, around 8 o'clock this morning, it was already 84 degrees. In fact, a few spots earlier this morning didn't even drop below that 80-degree mark overnight. That's just how warm it's going to be today. And we're going to be back to tracking those scattered rain showers and thunderstorms, just some sporadic inland rain right now. But the chance of rain is going to continue to pick up, all thanks to the remnants of Arthur. Remember that tropical storm we were talking about just around 24 hours ago? It's faded away. It's continued to weaken, though. You can see all that moisture still swirling around it across the Gulf Coast states. That's what's going to head our way later on this afternoon to this evening. Now, temperature-wise, mid-90s for highs, but just look at this heat index. Already outside, we are still an hour away from lunchtime through the afternoon, up to 102 right now in Darien, and it feels like 97 degrees as you step out the door right now here in Savannah. So coming up in the complete Storm Team 3 forecast, we'll time out the rain showers for today, talk about that heat for this afternoon, then of course talk about what you can expect as we head into this Father's Day weekend.
Thank you, Alyssa. We begin this morning with breaking news. A military court judge has found a former Fort Stewart soldier guilty on all remaining charges in connection to a mass shooting on base last year. About 30 minutes ago, Sergeant Cornelius Radford was read the guilty verdict for 2 specifications of attempted premeditated murder and 4 specifications of attempted unpremeditated murder. Radford previously pleaded guilty to 6 offenses of aggravated assault on March 31st. This week's trial centered around Radford's intent last August. Prosecution called 16 witnesses to stand to testify about their experience that day and argued that Radford shot with intent to kill. The defense's position was Radford was suicidal and only shot at the soldiers in an attempt to attract law enforcement and die in a shootout. Sentencing is tentatively scheduled for 9 a.m. on Monday, June 22nd, but this could be delayed after Radford's defense announced its intentions to file an Article 13 motion, which could lessen his sentence due to improper pretrial punishment. Of course, we'll have much more on this story this afternoon, beginning on First News at 4. Savannah police need your help this morning finding the person responsible for a triple shooting on Capitol Street. We're told officers responded to Capitol Square Apartments on Savannah's east side just after 10 Tuesday night, where they say they found a man and 2 women who'd been shot. Police tell us one of the women suffered serious injuries while the conditions of the others have not been released. So far, no arrests have been made. If you have any information that can help in the case, you're asked to contact Crime Stoppers anonymously. That number 912-234-2020. WSAV is your local election headquarters. Early voting wraps up later today in South Carolina ahead of the state's runoff next Tuesday, June 23rd. If you voted in the primary earlier this month, you must vote for that same party in the runoff. Happening tonight, the Historic Foundation is hosting a special panel discussion examining the history of Yamacraw community. The event begins at 6 at First Bryan Baptist Church and will explore its 18th century roots to the demolition of the neighborhood in the late 1930s and the development of public housing several years later. All are welcome to attend. Making headlines this morning, the Trump administration has released the full text of the deal with Iran. The president says it keeps Iran from getting a nuclear weapon, but as Washington correspondent Margaret Chadbourne shows us, critics, including some Republicans, say it gives too much away, with doubts still remaining if Iran will actually live up to its end of the bargain.
If President Trump announcing he signed the Memorandum of Understanding with Iran, taking pen to paper off camera during a dinner hosted by French President Emmanuel Macron at the Palace of Versailles. His deputy chief of staff later posting the key moment on social media.
If they're not behaving, they get hit again.
As the president wrapped up the G7 summit, senior U.S. officials released new details of the agreement. The president said Iran's decision to close the Strait of Hormuz had put too much pressure on the American economy.
I didn't want to see economic catastrophe. If you kept this going, that could have happened.
Under the deal, which leads to 60 more days of talks, Tehran allows toll-free passage of the strait. The U.S. ends its naval blockade in the region, and Iran reaffirms it will not develop or procure nuclear weapons. The U.S. will also release billions of dollars in frozen Iranian assets. On Capitol Hill, a growing number of Republicans argue the deal rewards Iran financially before it takes concrete steps to dismantle its nuclear program, including allowing the country to resume selling oil and a proposed $300 billion reconstruction fund to help Iran rebuild.
We're not going to know whether it's a deal that works for 60 to 90 days.
This will go down as a tremendous foreign policy blunder.
That was Margaret Chadbourne reporting. Republican lawmakers say another cause of concern is the president told reporters he supports allowing Iran to have some ballistic missiles. Experts say this type of move could allow the country to remain a threat to the region, including Israel. Well, happening now, WSAV's 4th annual Schools Out summer food drive benefiting Second Harvest of Coastal Georgia is back in Chatham County today. We are collecting items for children and families in need until 6:30 tonight at the Food Lion on King George Boulevard. That's where we find WSAV's Nakaya Harris. She joins us now live as another day of our campaign is just getting started. Nakaya, good morning.
Good morning, Kim. Like you said, this is WSAV's 4th annual Schools Out Summer Food Drive, and we're here at the Food Lion right on Savannah's South Side, 1050 King George Boulevard, to be specific. Now, this is a partnership with Second Harvest of Coastal Georgia, helping kids and families in need. In fact, this is a community effort for those children who really rely on those consistent school meals each and every day and no longer have access to it during those summer months. So we're here to fill in that gap for them. In fact, Kim, 1 in 5 children experience food insecurity, meaning they don't know where their next meal is coming from. So it's up to us, up to the community to fill that gap. So some of you at home may be wondering, what types of food are we looking for? So just think kid-friendly, non-perishable, easy-to-open items. As you can see on the table, we have applesauce or fruit cups, boxed crackers, canned vegetables, canned soup, preferably with Pop Tarts, canned tuna or chicken, cereal in individual packs along with cereal bars, oatmeal again in those individual packs, mac and cheese or pasta and sauce in non-glass containers, peanut butter, ramen noodles, and rice. And so if you find yourself making your way down here, don't worry, we will have a shopping list whenever you go inside and decide to get those items. And if you can't donate, physically, we will be taking monetary donations. In fact, every dollar helps provide up to 5 meals for families. So don't go too far. We do have some special guests to talk more about the need, but for now, I'm going to send it back to you, Kim.
All right. Thank you so much, Nakai. We'll check back in with you in just a bit. In the meantime, you can find the list of food items that are needed as well as the full schedule of collection events for this year's campaign on our website by visiting WSAV.com/food